Good morning, everybody. The Immigrant Council is delighted to have an opportunity to support the ERA in its launch this morning and to raise some of the issues for migrants and their family. I'll start the discussion by mentioning the Immigration, Residency and Protection Bill 2010 that was debated at committee stage recently. Opposition TDs raised the fact that they believe that there was vast amount of racial prejudice inbuilt in that draft piece of legislation. They also talked about undesirable ethos that's very evident in many of the immigration decisions and processes that migrants and their family are trying to access. If I wasn't limited to 2 or 3 minutes, I could spend 2 or 3 hours or indeed 2 or 3 days talking about the inequality, the discrimination that many migrants and their families face in this country. But in the short time allocated to me, I'll just highlight some of those that are very evident. From the stated undesirable ethos that many of the opposition TDs talked about, decisions for migrants and their families about their ability to live together in Ireland, the difficulties in those negative decisions, the deliberate policy of government to have no access to an independent avenue for appeal on those negative decisions. From decisions to deport people that effectively result in the expulsion of Irish citizen children, to the fact that many children of migrants do not have equal access in the education system, from the fact that there is a lack of clarity in many of the rules within the immigration system, and how last summer this was compounded when the government closed the only information line opened for a few hours for the whole summer months without any warning. The difficulty that the lack of information causes migrants and their family. But I think the criticisms that I mentioned earlier that opposition TDs have raised, they really succinctly highlight the difficulties that migrants and those of us working with migrants when advocating for a fair and transparent systems, what we all face. So we're delighted to be here to support the ERA in the launch today. We believe very strongly, as everybody in the room does, that no matter who is in power after the next election, that they must really act seriously upon these issues. We are absolutely a poorer society than we were a number of years ago. But if we don't deal with immigration and integration in a different way, if we tolerate the intolerable approach to immigration and integration that exists presently, we will be infinitely a more poorer society. We'd particularly like to support all the recommendations in the roadmap, but that there are a number that are specifically relevant to migrants and their families. In particular, the recommendation to beef up the Prohibition Incitement to Hatred Act, also to expand the scope of the Equal Status Act to explicitly include the functions of the state, and then also to place a positive duty on public sector organisations that have due regard to equality and human rights. Thank you.